Hi, I'm Aaron at OneMaybeTwoRetro. So last time we fixed the last bread bin that I had, it's now time to play with that bread bin and drastically improve its video quality. I have here LumaCode. Yes, LumaCode. If you haven't heard about LumaCode, this is an amazing addition for Commodore 64s and 128s. And did I make a mistake? I probably did. I didn't buy a second C64 VIC LumaCode, but that's okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our LumaCode and our RGB to HDMI with a Raspberry Pi, and we're going to create an HDMI output for this Commodore 64, which is going to be freaking cool. There's a nice little case, a Raspberry Pi, and we'll have HDMI output from it. Here's all the parts that we need. That is really weird, but really cool. So yeah, we're going to do this, I think. Almost. Yeah, here we go. This is a VIC-II Dizer Revision 3 by Copper Dragon. And this is a VIC-II Dizer 128 Revision 2 by Copper Dragon. Looking forward to that. Okay, I'm back, and we're going to record our desktop screen here. Here we go. So, LumaCode, Copper Dragon. Yeah, you're going to see. I need to minimize that. Here we go. So this is what's recording here. Okay. So this is the site for the LumaCode. Here's our documentation. We have our RGB to HDMI, which is good. We have a little case that came with it, which is excellent. There's all the little buttons. There we go. This is what we're looking at on the screen right now. Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. That's good. I'm not concerned about that, really. That should be fairly straightforward. Pops up through the case like this. Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. Excellent. And that can be used essentially with any LumaCode. And now what we need is to download the software release. This is the latest. Excellent. Okay, great. Can I download it, please? There we go. And the file is where? Oh, it should be. Did I already download it? No, I don't have a. All right. So already I'm showing my ignorance here. RGB to HDMI. Let's go see the project here. We'll put custom firmware on the Pi in conjunction with the CPLD, which is this. Sample each of each video modes. You give pixel perfect resolution. That's great. So I do need the this as well, but where? Oops. Cut that. Let's go back here. So that took me to the Raspberry Pi, guys. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. So let's put this in a different window. We got to download the latest for the RGB to HDMI. And we need a 40-pin connector for the Raspberry Pi, which means we need a Raspberry Pi. Well, I did actually buy a Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we have this Raspberry Pi Zero. That should be able to do the job. Let's see. Raspberry Pi Zero, Raspberry Pi Zero. Looks pretty similar. I like it. Let's leave this one where it belongs. We'll take this one. And oh, it's going to be so hard to install this Raspberry Pi Zero. There she goes. All right. This came with little standoffs. Look at that. These are standoffs. These are little standoffs for a little Raspberry Pi here to properly stand off the underlying circuit board. Yay! Standoffs. Come on, standoffs. Get with the program. All right. Beauty. That's much better. Look at that standoff. And what have I done? Dope! 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 Okay. Third time is a charm. It would really help if I read the instructions. Read them. Eh? All right. Big screwdriver do the job? Let's go medium-sized screwdriver do the job. Here we go. Oh yeah, that fits much better. Funny when you, what on earth? Okay, there we go. So, funny when you use the correct tools for the job. I really need to get my own 3D printer so I don't have to pay people for these. Okay, big screwdriver out of the way. Here we go. Make sure the Raspberry Pi is going down on all the pins. Excellent. All right. There we go. 5 times zoom. Oh, look at that. Proper focus this time. Look at those standoffs. Look at that craftsmanship. This is gorgeous. All right. Enough joking around. Let's get back to our proper message here. So now we have to close this up, right? No. Yep. We have access. Oh, that's not very clean. There we go. An RGBI to HDMI. Very exciting. Okay, this is cool. So in theory, all we have to do is download the software for this. Well, and then once we've downloaded the software, I need to use a keyboard and an HDMI converter here. Well, I have power. Where's power go in? Power goes in here, right? Let's see. No power there. Power here. No power here. Oh, this is not happy. My Raspberry Pi poop. Actually, better yet, let me check. Let Let me check my other Pi. This one's power. Let's make sure that when I plug this in that something lights up on this. Yeah, so I get a little green light here. Okay. So when I plug in power here, should see a little green light there. Dope. Pi no work. Okay, Raspberry Pi without the board. Oh, Raspberry Pi is dead on arrival, boys and girls. Well, let's just double check that. Oh my gosh, this is silly. Really? Right? Turn that on. We get a green light, and then it flickers, and that's okay. I'm not worried about it booting. Let's get an HDMI to RGB adapter here. We're just going to pause. Here we go. When we turn on the signal, what do we get? We get nothing. Oh no. So here we go. We got a Raspberry Pi that's booting. Now, so you should have been able to see, yeah, that our Raspberry Pi is booting here. It has booted. Excellent. Great. So we know that we can use one of my other Raspberry Pis that I've used for another project. Let's get this Raspberry Pi wherever I shoved it, right here, and let's get it hooked up and see what happens with it. Okay, survey says no flashing light. Wow, nothing. Okay, but that does not mean all is lost. Maybe I need to have an SD card in it. So let's put this little SD card in here, and let's go. Survey says, hey, we got a flashing light. This should just boot up. Okay, so we have a known working Raspberry Pi. All right, so next, we need an SD card. Preferably one that is tiny and hasn't been used yet. These are all larger. I'm not going to use it for a single device solution. There we go. There's a 32 gig one. Bought it just for these purposes. Excellent. Look, it even came with its own adapter. Cycle bin. Here we go. Don't worry, that TV was not part of the recycle bin. You probably couldn't see it. How do I get into this? Oh, it's a peely. Okay. Hey. Oh, okay. That was static charge that held that. Okay, another one for a container of adapters. Cycle bin. Excellent. All right. Here we go. We have ejected it. We've re-entered it. Excellent. We're just going to rename, not eject, rename, and we're going to just call this GBI to HDMI. How about a 2 in there? HDMI. That worked. Okay, great. Now, what does it say to do next? I need the software release, it says. Oh, we've got to download the software release. Excellent. Where's our software release? Okay, so a little digging. I realized I didn't scroll the screen down far enough to find the zip package here. So you got to download that. And there we go. This should be everything that you need to copy to your Raspberry Pi drive. So let's go here, RGB to HDMI, and let's just paste those 23 amps. And before we do that, let's just, I'm just going to click Erase Disk, and I'm going to make sure it's an exFAT, and that's going to be the title. Erase, erase. There we go. And now we'll paste. So for the LumaCode header to the RGBI, the generic version of the RGB to HDMI works just fine. So now we should be able to continue to follow the instructions as they identified over here. Pardon me. And we should be able to get back to our getting started. Oh, pardon me. We did need to finish one other thing. Hey, you don't need to be up. Let's go back to the wiki. Here we go. Oh, no, maybe we'll go back to this. We'll go back to, here we go. So, power is off, no lights are on. I need to eject that disk I just created. And so we'll do that. Eject Rooney. All right. I believe it goes like this. There we go. The software installed. Let's get the header down here. Again, make sure you do it properly. No pins missed. Don't want to miss any pins. Okay. There we go. Moment of truth. All right. So here we go. Turn on our Raspberry Pi. Fingers crossed. Maybe I put the lid on too early. What's going on here? Why are we not getting any, no love? Possibly a bad RGB to HDMI? God, I'm losing here. I don't even know what's on and off right now. Let's, process of elimination. Did I even have it on? Does it read the card? It's not even coming to life. Be right back. All right. So here's where we're at. I had to, I think I had to. We'll soon see. I had to download another person's version, I think. When I say I think, make sure that light didn't come on. I haven't actually, here. 1, 2, 3. Well, there's no light. There's no game. There's no signal. I mean, jeepers creepers. Can't at least have a beep code? Well, I'll come back. Hi, I'm Aaron, OneMaybeTwoRetro. Welcome back. Okay, continuing saga of testing Commodore 128s with new drives and seeing how fast it can load GEOS. Still waiting on my update from a Jiffy DOS perspective, but in doing so, while waiting, I also had on order a proper RGB to HDMI. So right now, if you look at the video quality that we have out of 1, that's interesting. And what we should be seeing is, so we're seeing some pretty nice video coming out of the makeshift cable that I made. That it was just a temporary solution, but interesting packaging. Nothing like a bit of pink Christmas tissue here. Nothing else. It's nice. This came with its own beastie power supply. Look at that. To up to 9 volts at 3 amps. Yeah, I mean, like, not insanely beastie, but certainly feels heavier and stronger than some of the other 3 ampers that I have. Came with its own USB-C to USB mini. It's not micro, technically. I can't remember. Recycle. Missed. That's all right. Plug that in. Knock off my own monitor so I can't monitor what's going on. I'm concerned that my video here, a side-by-side video, is not capturing properly. But I'm getting this, and I'm getting an audio signal, so... Okay, anyways, back to this. So, if you recall, I had mistakenly ordered... I got it my own RGB to HDMI setup, covered that, but it was a LumaCode only, fine, which I thought would be able to persist in LumaCode only, and it would able to persist. LumaCode only, and that it would be able to cover both 80 and 40 columns. Either I'd switch it or whatever. But that's not the case. You need a different header board to be able to do 80 columns or RGB, TTL or RGB input. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's experiment with that. Now, I'm just going to shut that down temporarily. I'm going to go into 40 column mode. And, okay, one of my captures isn't working. Let's pause here. Okay. Hold on, I need to start recording here. So now you can see that one of the capture units. So I'm testing out this new Easy capture unit. It is significantly less expensive than the Aglato cam links that I've very successfully worked with. It's now capturing, and actually what I should do is I really need something with borders because I want to trim down the borders and expand the screen so that it's easier for you folks to see it. Pardon me. And oh, I see why it's getting cut off. Oh, okay. Let me get back to that. I'll be right back. All right, so a few adjustments. I think I've kind of found the halfway between the two, which is nice. But what we're going to do now is we're going to stop this, and we're going to plug in the HDMI to RGB, stop recording, and see how that affects it. Like that idea. And I'll no longer be going through my retro scaler. I will be going through, oh, I need an adapter. That's why they gave me an adapter. Here we go. We're going through this, which should give us a much clearer picture as well. So let's see here. We plug this in like so, so that should give it very tight. There we go. So there we have power on, and I should start recording this. Not seeing anything yet. Oh, there we go. 1366 by 768. So let me just, I'm just going to change the properties of the, I'm using the easy capture for this one. So I'm just gonna go high and see. Oh, of course it rescaled it now. 960 points is probably best. You'll see me wiggling this around, maybe. Okay. So, first test. Let's just see what happens when we turn. Oh, look at that. Okay. We have a little bit of flashing going on here. But immediately, great little test. I'm just going to increase the size of this. All right. Let's see. There's our main menu. And I can't read this, so I'm going to zoom it out. There we go. In fact, let's just move the order back to the top so we can see the full screen. There it is. Excellent. All right. This is up, down, okay. And we're going to go to let's select auto calibrate video sampling. Press again, confirm calibration, auto calibration. Press menu to save configuration. I don't think that configuration's right. So here, we're gonna skip saving, and I'm gonna go down to refresh EID, and that requires a reboot. So let's reboot it and see what happens. Oh, is this going to work? Well, no. Interesting. Okay. This is I'm sure this is going to be a configuration issue. Resolutions. Primary. Oh, let's go with our sub profile here. Okay, hold on. Profile. Here's the problem. We need to find haha, there we go. Oh, that's RGBI Alt if. I want to see one more click. One more click. Is there just like a straight up? Okay, no. So, I wish there was a way for me to expand that, but that looks really stable. Let's just let's go back one. Oh no, one. Okay. Excellent. All right. So let's back out of that, and then we're going to go. We're going to save configuration. Not saved. Same as default. Well, let's make sure it actually is the default configuration. Oh. So there's a Commodore 128 RGB. Let's try that. Well, that looks good. Oh, look how crystal clear that looks. To the best of my eyes, that is really nice. Now let's scale this down so that, let's see here. Okay, cool. I now have digital out to digital, out to digital to digital. I don't think my 128 will ever look this clear. And of course, if we refresh into Commodore 64 mode, there's Commodore 64 mode. If we go into 80 column mode, or sorry, 40 column mode on Commodore 128, that's what it looks like there. Okay, so we can now do Commodore 128 side by side. But I think we can do better. I think we can add LumaCode, the LumaCode to this 128 that I have been working on. And we can see how crystal clear that looks as well. The other thing that we can do is we can do a real world example of what GEOS 128 looks like. So I'm just going to pause everything here. We're going to stop recording. Okay, so here I have, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, is that crystal clear. It's just like absolutely perfect. I've never seen a Commodore screen that clear. Oh my goodness. It's time for us to do some significant modifications to this Commodore 128. We're just gonna unplug some of these components here we don't need. So what am I going to do? I am going to open this bad boy up. We're going to put in, install the clips required for LumaCode, and specifically LumaCode for the 128 VDC. So let's get this bad boy open, or girl, whichever way you want to put it, and see what we can do. And probably what I should do is try and find one of my 128s that has only all three came out. 1, 2, 3. I'm wondering if any of my 128s have the VDC 64K VDC upgrade. No. There we go. Have a screw right here we have to deal with. Then we should be able to remove the LED, remove the keyboard, maybe. No, we actually don't have to remove that. We can lay this over like so, on top of everything else. And we're going to get at these board screws that are very, very loose. There we go. Now, yeah, I know I'm doing this blind, but hey, what the hey. Oh, in the center. There we go. 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one's on the other side. Ooh. A little bit of heat stuff there. Okay, so I think the first order is, let's that was easy to get off. let's get our VIC-II chip out of here and replaced with, oh sorry, not out of here, but jumpered with our LumaCode item. And usually we would hook up LumaCode via the RF module, which I am quite happy to do on this unit. But considering considering the fact that we boy oh boy today, considering I don't want to damage the original, I am going to not touch that. Let's get the C128 VIC-II chip. So the VIC, and this is the 8564, which is right here. The other 8563 is the VDC, if I'm not mistaken. Is correct. So this is the chip that we're removing. We can do a little bit of a zoom here so you can see a bit better. Let's go to a new lens, and we'll go to 2 times. And then we can zoom in from 2 times to see me pull this. There we go. Nice and pulled. And of course, we're going to do a little bit of deoxit on these pins while we're here. Excellent. Then we will take our adapter, noticing that, and we will make sure that it sits very nicely. There we go. Oh, maybe not. Well, I better pull that back out and make sure I didn't bend any of the pins. Let's have a look. No pins bent. Okay. Do that again. Certainly not the easiest one. Okay. Well, and look at that. It sits right over that like that. So that means this. Oh, these will need to be bent up a little. There we go. Like that. These can go out the cartridge port. All right. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh. Wow. Okay, so still straight pins. You notice this? Oh boy. So this I'm going to bend that capacitor out of the way. Oh, it's going to be better. That might explain why it was having so much trouble getting seated. Still having trouble. Oh my goodness. too much. So that one as well. This one is... This one can bend up. I'm not worried about that. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that, but this actually is not touching. Now we have a top-down camera issue. So you probably missed that last insertion on the top-down. But here we're going to plug in the the VIC-II, and that went in a lot easier. Now, of course, you can't use the shield on this anymore. If you're worried about your chips and their temp, which you shouldn't really be, you can put a couple low height heat shrinks on these. But for right now, I'm more concerned about testing this. So let's start with all the screws that I missed, and then plugging in our LEDs. All right. Power. Composite video. Well, S video. All right. And then we have, I don't think we need anything else. Should be able to now see power coming on to, okay, so far so good. So we do have VIC-II. I'm just going to reset into Commodore 64 mode. Okay. And so there we see the before and after, or we're going to see a before and after, I should say. So now we're going to hook up our alligator clips to here, just to test this out. That's not right. No, I shouldn't do it that way. I should... That's off. Let's unplug this. I think I should... So red is ground, so I had that on backwards anyways. I should probably do this. I'm gonna ground out to that. And then screw it. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to attach it to the place it recommends, which is the RF modulator, which, quite frankly, nobody using this 128 should ever use. Out of my way. There we go. Just likes to hang on there, doesn't it? So all I have to do is actually cut a little trace down at the bottom here, And I'll cut it in such a way that it can be resoldered. Here, we're going to zoom in here a bit. I think I can go 5 times. Oh, that's 0.5. This would be 5 times. And then I will readjust this into the zone so that you can see I am here. You may not be able to see that trace. All right. Just get in there. Click. Yep, I left enough for each. I'm just going to bend that up and out, so no, not touching that. Bend the other one the other way, so they're clearly separated. The red is still ground, but now we will connect the green to that, right, like so. And then we will connect the red to ground, right, like so. And then our LumaCode cable will go in the back there. We will go back to our regular viewing lens. And temporarily leave that like that. I'm going to plug the power in. All right. Survey said back to good. We have conventional. Yep, that looks good. And 64 mode. Excellent. We'll go back to 128. So now that we have our LumaCode installed, we should be able to take our RGB LumaCode, plug it in, and instead of using this HDMI out, should be able to get and use this HDMI, which I need an adapter for, which I have right here. Thank goodness. And if we turn on that RGB to HDMI, we are not seeing anything. All right. Would help if I switched it on properly. Let's go into the menu. Oh yeah, that's going to be tough. Here, I'm going to unplug that. Oh no, it's the other way around. I'm going to unplug the LumaCode. And oh, we just reset one of our devices. Camlink 4K. All right. Pausing. Okay, so here I'm going to turn on the software switch, and we're going to go down to select profile. We select that. We're going to go down to up to a Commodore profile, select that, and then we're going to go down up to Commodore 128 LumaCode, select that. All right. Survey says we're going to turn this off before I plug in the LumaCode. Of course, did I save the settings? Probably not. But survey says GLaDO no signal. Oh. Pull the LumaCode. Hit the software. Let's try that again. It seems to have not. We're going to go to that, and then, and then we're going to go save configuration. There we go. So now we have saved the configuration. I'm just going to turn off the LumaCode. I'm going to plug in the LumaCode sensor. We're going to turn it back on. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to go down. Oh. I'm going to auto calibrate. Oh. There we go. Starting calibration. Survey says lots of errors. Let's go back to the menu. Let's run that auto calibration again. Oh, look at all the errors. Interesting. Let's go down and select profile. Is this our problem here? Oh, it didn't like that. It's rebooting. Well, I'm going to keep recording here without the top down because, hey, this is now a software item that we're reviewing. That doesn't look good. Let's go select a different profile again. Okay, so I think I may have just inadvertently connected and hit something. We're going to just try and fix that. I'm going to turn that off because I don't want that running. I don't want this running at all. Let's pull out the screw. Let's have a look-see here. Okay. Take this from the side. Let's hook it up there. Let's see. So there's that coil there. Let's do that. So I just plugged that in to make sure it actually touches. Don't worry about our keyboard ground for now. Let's make sure our LumaCode is on, our other LumaCode is on. All right. Turning on. It really seems like it's having trouble. I'm going to auto-calibrate again. Oh dear. Okay, I figured this out. Hopefully I figured out my camera setup too. It seems that my retro scaler, when plugged into a specific set of power, was giving me some feedback. And I wonder if this has been persistent in my video since day 0. Because watch what happens. I'm just gonna turn off the retro scaler. And yeah, we don't need the retro scaler for the RGB portion, but look what happens as soon as I plug it in. And I only have the audio components plugged in here. If I unplug those and it resets, now look at the interference. Interference, no interference. Interference. No interference. But if I unplug this from over here and plug it back into what I found is a clean power source, I guess, I plug in my red and I plug in my white. I can even plug in the composite video, all connected to the computer right now, and crystal clear. And just to show, coming off of this and to here, if I do that, I should get composite video maybe. I'm going to unplug these. Turn that off. Turn that back on. So there's the composite video with jail bars. And you know what? No weird artifacts going through. Wow. Okay. So. Welcome to my journey. Jesus Christ. So I thought it was the cable, but apparently not. Apparently, I have a power issue on that box. Okay. Now I can plug back in my nice one. Oops. And I will get its connection going for here, like so. So there's that. There's that. There's this. And this. And again, I want to see the quality difference here. So I'm going to plug this into here temporarily. And we're going to put input select as this video. Then we're going to take our lid. We're going to put it back on just temporarily because we have one other thing. But I think we have LumaCode figured out. That is a much clearer picture than what it was before. And look, True S video is working. Oh my gosh. And when I do combo, it doesn't know which to use. Okay, and then if I switch back over to my LumaCode, crystal clear. Not quite the right color palette though, like way more intense. That green is very intense. But if I reset and go to that 64 looks really, really good. And you know what? Here, this this will help you. Let me just change scenes here. Look at that. Yeah, I think that looks really, really, really good. All right. So now that we have that up and running, I think I'm going to put in a couple. I think I got some heat sinks that I can dab right on the top here. Yeah, I think so. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I think I've got 3 heat sinks on here that I can, I really need 3, probably really only need 1, I guess. Maybe 1 right in the middle in each. And then we'll see if we start running into any heat-related issues. And we can adjust from there. I mean, considering the heat shield itself only just used 1 connection, 1 contact point. Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's just test this out though. Just make sure it fits. Yeah, I don't see any issues there. Okay, not worried about the RF per se. Let's just throw that on there like that. Do the same on this side over here. All right, Mr. 128. Starting to be pimped out. This is awesome. So, I was able to squeeze those alligator clips through the square hole. So I'm able to put this RF shield back on, which is great. And then these, I'm not able to get this lid back on, so I'm leaving those like that. Now the next step. Welcome back. It's another day. Day 3 or 4 of this saga. Because I didn't actually capture enough scenes to show a real side-by-side comparison between the LumaCode and the RGB to HDMI captures versus an analog 80 column out going over composite. Well, it's not really a composite. It's black and white 80 column out and going over an RCA cable, and S video coming up. Oh my goodness, that was hard for me to say. So to do this, we're going to use GEOS, and I'm going to put up all four on the screen, and you're going to see the difference. Now, before I do this, so let me tell you how I did this in this setup. So no problem getting composite out. Sorry, that's S video out. At the same time, LumaCode, which piggybacks underneath the VIC-II chip inside the Commodore 128, is sending its digital signal out at the same time. Should be the exact same picture, just very different qualities. And then I had my RGB to HDMI, which takes the digital RGB signal out and converts it to HDMI. But I need to grab pin, I think it was pin 7, and ground out of there to be able to send just the 80 column signal in analog to yet another capture device. So to do that, I just extended the cable here. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it very well. Let me just see side profile here. Yeah, let's take this and let's change that to a 2.5 zoom. Oh, it's all in frame. Okay, cool. So here, this orange wire coming out is the ground pin 1. And the yellow coming out, I believe, is well, it's actually the gray coming out to this yellow is the composite signal that, just connects there in a very janky way. It's temporary. It's temporary. But it goes out to this retro scaler, which captures that video. And then of course, the S video comes out to the retro scaler, and it's also handling the audio. So that's 4 outputs from one Commodore 128. I don't think I've ever seen this on television before. So let's see what happens here. There we go. We have 4 pictures, and I have my Bitbinders 1581 DV that I'm going to do a deeper dive in a couple other videos, but it is now booting my GEOS, auto booting my GEOS 128 so that we can see some really, well, I won't say high end, but I will say how the different displays look side by side. So we've booted up an 80 column. And you're going to see the 2 on the left-hand side of the screen. And yes, that's what the RGB outputs from LumaCode when it looks like GEOS shuts off the VIC-II. Doesn't just leave the green bars up or go full green screen. It shuts off the VIC-II. And so it's just getting garbage. So you can ignore that for now. In a couple minutes, I'll show you what these look like side by side. And then maybe in post edit, I'll get all 4 up at the same time. So here, just so you can see, I'm going to switch in real time to 40 columns. And there we have the capture coming out of LumaCode. Brightness seems to be a little lower than what you're getting out of S video, but it should definitely be in all beautiful colors. I don't think I have anything to actually test colors. Pad Color Manager. There we go. And if you recall, when yeah, look at this. This is all grays and stuff. Look here. There's a default 1. Default 2. Ooh. Default 3. Let's go default 2. And then we will save. And we'll exit. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now, I'm on a really small monitor, so I can only comment on, you know what I can do? I can change the scenes here. So if we wanted to look at the scene, I think I've got the easy cap as an example. Oh, and that's not even going full screen. Let me go transform. Why I don't have this ready, I don't know, but here we go. And I think we can even zoom that in more. I'm going to edit this transform, and I'm going to scale to outer bounds. Oh, that's pretty good. Can I scale to height of bounds? Nope, let's not do that. Maximum size? Nope. Width of bounds. Scale to outer bounds. Well, I think that's pretty good. That is a 640 by 480 capture coming from the scaler into OBS. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, let me get the janky connections out of your eyes there. But then you can also see here what let's see here. This is what the LumaCode looks like. Oh, that's not interesting. I'm seeing some interesting artifacts coming off the LumaCode here. Let me just see if I can fit the screen. There we go. So there's the LumaCode, and it's being captured. Yeah, I can definitely see those speckles in there. I wasn't getting those before. So the power issue I had before certainly wasn't causing this type of issue. Let's see, scale to height. I don't think it actually makes much of width. Okay. And this I'm capturing at 1920 by 1080 through the RGB. So you know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to... Oh. I don't seem to have the same... There. Scaling is now done auto. And then I'm just going to reset the sampling calibration, and hopefully and I'm going to make sure I save the configuration. But now I'm afraid we may have gotten the wrong colors. What on earth? Do I need to, let's reset the, oh, I reset the wrong one. Let's reset this and see if that comes up any better. No, still getting those weird sparkles, and certainly an odd color compared to that color. So that calibration didn't work very well, and I'm not sure why. But okay, let's ignore the sparkles for right now. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a sec. Okay, that doesn't seem to affect anything. If I turn off some of the other capture streams, it makes no difference whatsoever. And I'm just trying to rule out that we have that loopback issue that we had before. And I don't think it's any of these that are causing it. All right. Well, let's, I'm going to go back into this menu, hopefully quickly. I might just restore the default configuration. Okay, there's the restore. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. What have I done? Okay, well, we can see the regular colors are back. The colors that I picked from that weird palette. You can see we're still running and live. And of course, if I go to all 4 streams, here we go. We're back to the Glotto, and I'm going to edit that transformation, and I'm going to make it scale to height bounds, which didn't change anything. Scale to, there we go, width bounds. We'll just hit close. So there you can see the jail barring that we get. You can see some of the color bleed that we get off of S-Video. Yeah, I'm scaling it up, so it makes that look even more apparent. But, you know, when we go back to, if we go back to all 4 streams, you can really start to see the difference now. But if we switch back to 80 columns again, and you can then see in all black and white glory again, we can start to see some of the difference between this, and I'll scale that up, at least fit the screen. Oh, that doesn't even fit the screen. That's interesting. But look how clear that is. I mean, that is just wowzer. Yeah, I don't, there we go. I mean, I am thoroughly impressed in the quality of the RGB to HDMI. So, I mean, it should be. It should be digital to digital to digital to digital from what you're seeing. And then, of course, if we go to finally the other capture, which is, and so, yeah, I'm sure we're seeing a little bit of interference here because of my janky setup. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. A little darker. We don't have quite the intensity of the other picture, but this is an analog 80 column coming out of the 128. So yeah, this is all 4 streams side by side and running GEOS. That's it. Okay. And yes, of course. And so this is the, oh yeah, this is the side by side, but not really. Here we go. We'll scale that down. Not quite dual monitor out, but certainly this is LumaCode again that you're seeing there. And I'm going to have to figure out that squabbly bit. I'm not sure why it's so persistent. Oh my goodness. That looks like fun. There's obviously a lot of interference coming from something. Maybe all my janky connections. I don't know. But I've got some work to do there. But there we go. We can see side by side, top to bottom, what the differences are between 80 and 40 columns. And then I'll do some post editing to show here you should be seeing again all four streams running together. And I'm going to have to figure out what my aspect ratio issues are here. But lots of fun and tinkering for me later. You again can see all four screens up here. All right. I'm Aaron at OneMaybeTwoRetro. Thank you for joining this crazy journey I've been doing into LumaCode running on a Commodore 128. I do have a LumaCode for 64. I think when I do my Jiffy DOS update to my SX64 and add LumaCode to it. Oh, and the one other thing is I'm going to add a drive selector. I've never done this before in a Commodore. I know how to do it. And I know some of the newer drives come with a drive selector, like this beautiful Bitbinders 1581. Notice how fast GEOS loads on that? I'm going to turn my SX64 into my ultimate Commodore 64 gaming / other stuff platform, probably adding and using a Sidekick 64 on it so that I can load turbo cartridges on it. It will have Jiffy DOS in it. It will have a drive selector so I can use a high 1541 on it. And I should also be able to show you it using a RAM expander, etc. So that's coming soon. Also, my next video I think is going to be all about the unboxing of those discs I found, plus a whole bunch of other retro stuff, not necessarily Commodore related. And then a video shortly coming out after that might actually be that Jiffy DOS and LumaCode update and switch install for the 1541. I'm Aaron at OneMaybeTwoRetro again. Thanks a lot for joining me. Might have a few outtakes in this one. Make sure to check out my other videos. Hit subscribe. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. I am doing this for the pure enjoyment of dragging you along on my journey. Cheers.